We still don't have a date for when we're gonna start paving. With all the rain, we're all in the same boat. Everybody's behind. I talked to people that were gonna do our gravel. I thought they were gonna move in today. That didn't happen, actually yesterday. The last conversation I had yesterday with them is probably Wednesday they're looking to move in. Hopefully that will work.
Maybe tomorrow or a week from Wednesday.
This Wednesday. That's,
Okay.
but,
Yep.
we're still thinking where that will go.
Right.
Grader's going back this week. That will be done. We'll finish everything up with our grader. We're trying to get that. It's working out in our favor. So if you see the grader working this week, it's in our favor. Okay. Not much more than that right now. I mean, we're just trying to get some stuff done. I mean, it's the phone calls have finally stopped. Everybody understands we're out there. You know, we got a phone call today, but once you explain it to everybody seems to understand where we're at. You know.
Well, I must say, the town supervisor has no pull, because my road hasn't been done yet. And it's fine, I mean, it's, but-
Working that way.
That was all the rain and
that's-
stuff.
and that's all a joke, Mark. Don't have-
No, so,
Someone's first, someone's last, right?
yeah,
Right.
you
Yep,
know, and
yep, no,
just working in areas.
that's right. And
So
that's
we
good.
don't have to travel a lot.
Right.
And,
Yep,
been having some problems getting the calcium. I mean, it's, you know, Jamie spread a load today.
could have had two, but.
Yeah, we could actually have another load.
Yeah,
It's catching up, so. Once that gets done, then we'll go back to doing our ditching, and we got to take care of some of that storm damage and stuff, you know.
so you haven't got up there yet?
Do.
Okay, okay.
Ditching will, we gotta finish up the Maryville Road, because that's the primary one right now for 3.8 miles of paving that we're gonna do this year. And then probably some on Cary Road, and to finish out some of that there, to take care of some of the CHIPS money. Our guys been working like hell trying to get things done. I know every time we have a day off, the sun shines, and
Right.
thinks that we should be in here on Saturday and Sunday. It's not gonna happen. About it.
Okay. Any questions from Mark?
Dave, Mark, has the state told you anything about the timeline for the roundabout?
No. I haven't even heard anything.
I know that next week they're going to open the bids on the project. It's out for bid now. And according to their website, they're going to start, quote, fall. And finish next year. Either half done or all winter. But
Just like
It's about
that.
right.
Yeah.
Really demonstrate how bad it works.
Yes.
Or,
Yeah, if you remember, most all the work we did on box culverts and stuff on 28, they decided to start in the fall. And just made a big disaster during the winter, so.
yeah.
I know there's a couple box culverts on 28 that they're supposed to fix. I thought that they were supposed to start them by now, but I haven't even seen if they let the bids out on them, so.
At the end of Ed's Road? Are they doing
Yeah.
that?
Yeah,
They were
that was,
putting lights up today.
were they?
Yeah.
Well, if they're gonna screw up the mountain, might as well screw up everything.
Lights are across
So he
the
won't
end of
go on
Boots's
28,
driveway,
that's
though.
all.
That's kinda
Start during Fair Week.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yep.
That was one of the things I will tell you that we were stated to go August 17th, and I said, we will not, because that's Fair Week, and that just creates a lot of problems. Not because of vacations, but just because of people traveling some of our roads, and especially the Merrickville Road. So it'll be after that anyways. right
It
now.
doubles in traffic the week of the fair.
Huh?
It doubles in traffic the week of the fair.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Believe it or not, it's, they'll tell you, what they do is they go up the Merrickville Road and over at Klug Road. Why people do that, I have no idea.
They're GPS.
Yeah.
At least, you know, like Klug Road is a good wide open road, except on the lower end there. And the-
Until it's middle of winter and they get sun up over it.
Yeah, that's true too. Yep, yep.
So they travel that one, Benna Hollow is number one, Benna Hollow don't kill, because that's actually shorter too. So,
They figured less traffic, so they put all the traffic on that road. Okay, so is that it for questions for Mark? Okay, we'll move on.
only we haven't gotten letters. Have you gotten a letter on that roundabout?
No, I haven't seen anything, no
Usually-
emails, nothing.
Usually all of us, Jeff, town clerk.
I think I got
myself,
notice they were gonna let the bids out,
yeah,
but other than that, that's the only,
didn't see
I said,
anything.
damn.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's their choice. But, no. We didn't have a planning board meeting last month. They had one Thursday night. That's from the planning. The pool's working well, or,
I didn't get anything from them either.
Oh, they won't meet until next Monday.
they're later on.
Yeah, the first.
Yeah, okay, so I'll meet the 6th or 7th, so. Okay, anything else to be brought up before we, if everybody, we did have that special meeting, which Dawn had, we'll open up the meeting, because I'm sure that's gonna be the discussion. Oh, but I'm gonna back off. You never heard from Maravinos on that cash price on the home heating, or the heating, so I'll have to get the information. You can, if you give me your number, the lady that was down there, Mark, if you've got a contact number, because I'll call her, because the town hasn't received an invoice to get 10 cents off a gallon for prepaying, and they agreed to give it to us for the heating part. So we ought to,
Before I leave tonight, I can
oh, okay,
pull it off the computer.
thank you, Mark. Okay, now we'll open it, how's that? And I know the Clean Energy Communities, which I had a call from Donnie. We did have the special meeting, and I guess we got the paperwork in on time for the $2,500 grant. So now, I talked to Paul earlier today about getting the benchmarks for the electric bill and heating costs for this main building, which I don't know what, okay.
What time frame? You never really gave me a time frame.
16 and 17.
Calendar year,
Yeah.
16 and 17 today.
I believe that's what it was, wasn't it? I think it was.
I think so too.
1,000 feet.
Amounts of energy usage prior to upgrades.
Right.
So we talked about doing it for 16 and then carrying it forward to
Carry it
17.
forward, so we have some numbers to go by.
This is to go after the 50,000, correct, Mark?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
There's nothing mandating us to, correct?
No, but it's, you know, one of the four that, you know, I didn't get a hold of Mark Jacobs to see if he was gonna do the training, which is one of the, oh, you did?
Conditions.
Yeah,
And
He
he's,
said it when Hamden gets, Hamden's
Okay.
Hamden is getting him set
yep,
up.
okay, so.
So then that'll cover that.
We'll do that together then for,
Without additional.
yeah, that'll be all.
So you need how much we spent and how many kilowatt hours, or?
I would think the electric bill would be the kilowatt hours.
The usage?
Usage is probably the critical part,
Okay.
yes, please.
Yeah.
Because price can go up or down, but the usage is what counts.
Okay, they don't care how much we spent then. All they really need to know is the usage.
Yeah, probably the
would think,
kilowatts is
yeah.
what, yeah, because
And they also want to know the fuel usage
gallons.
Fuel?
Heating.
Yes,
Heating for heating.
for just this building.
Okay.
Now, also Jeff, I mean, my understanding is that it is first come, first served for these, there's a total of 14 grants.
Right.
One has been issued at 100,000. I mean, technically, if we got things moving, there's no reason we couldn't qualify for a $100,000 grant. There's still 3 of those open, but
Right,
The
but that's
50s
for
are
the,
more likely.
I
over-
thought
no,
that was for bigger
that's over
towns.
40,000
Yeah.
population, I think 100,000.
oh, you're right, excuse me. Yep, you're
So
right.
since we're under, there's,
We have the
what,
4.
there's
Yep, I see
10
right
that
here.
are for, under the 40,000 and
No.
4 over 40?
Well, actually, no, small and medium, 0 to 39,000 have 4 grants of 100,000 and 10 grants of 50,000. The large have 2 grants of 250 and 2 grants of 150. So we can qualify
Yeah.
for,
If we could, yep.
yes, I mean, it's just a potential,
Right.
depending on
right.
what towns move. Some are already starting to move.
Yep.
But,
Yep. Yep.
well,
Well, you know, we'll work on, that's one, and then, what was the lighting was, they didn't think that ever fit because NICEAG not.
nice it gets in.
Yeah,
These grants are public, they taxpayer money,
New York State
New York
grant.
State.
so wait, but the taxpayers haven't.
Actually, it's NYSERDA.
They never do.
But it's taxpayer money.
Oh, it's nicer, it's, yes, it is,
Yes.
and there's,
It
there's
seems
all,
like the town
all
must be
grants.
putting a hold of something to say,
Are,
I just think there should be a point, like, say all these grants handed out, like, who gets to use them? I mean, whether the people of the town would like to have that money spent on something.
Right.
That just seems,
well, what we're looking, if we can qualify, one of the things is, you know, we are considering a new town office building.
right,
And if we could go with energy efficient, like geothermal heat and stuff like that, you know, which, that would probably take care of a $50,000 grant. Something to the expense of that. You know, just energy efficiency. I mean, you know, if we can get, just like the 2,500 that we qualified for, I hope we qualified for. You know, part of that is gonna go into energy efficient light, you know, lighting in the town building here. And probably some will, I'm thinking some could go to maybe a charging station, just to help possibly tourism or something, you know, the community type of deal. You know, it won't be used for, you know, to buy asphalt or something like that. But it'll be for, you know, if we can get that 2,500, at least it's some money to, maybe we can put it towards an overhead door. Because they, you know, they're not very, you know, they've gone by the energy efficient side, and maybe that would qualify for energy savings.
Because the old ones are leaking, right?
The old ones are, you know, they're 14
They're
or
losing
84.
rigidity.
You know, they're 35 years old, so what insulation was there has probably absorbed all the moisture available. And how, you know, we had 2 of them replaced a couple of years ago. And that might not have been our smartest move, because we went with the lowest bid. And the new doors probably aren't as good as the old doors.
Nothing is.
You know, well, I mean, you know, we got a couple of different bids, you know, we went for the cheaper bid, and they haven't been the quality door that the other ones were, have they, Paul? We've had issues with them, so maybe, you know, instead of a $2,600 door, we should have gone to a $5,000 door and got a better door. And for the last 30 years, you know, that $2,500, you know, $100 a year isn't much.
where'd you get them from, Jeff?
Right at
Overhead door in Oneonta?
I think so.
Action?
Yep.
Okay. But this last one, we had bids on a couple of them, and there were about a 2 or 3, almost $3,000 difference in price. But that, the one company was out of Mount Upton, I believe, and they supposedly have the, much better door.
That's
He
Haynes.
won't handle the cheap door.
He won't
Yeah,
put
Haynes won't
cheap.
handle it cheap.
Right. So I mean, some of the money could go towards the replacement of the door. Something that will go towards energy savings, how's that, of some sort. Yes,
Well,
Don?
also, Jeff, I mean, just when you read through the criteria, once we have been designated a community, a CEC community, and I think we have met that,
Right,
and that money, that 25 will come in. But then, basically, we have 3 months to submit a proposal of how we would use this grant funding, and the project must be ready to commence within 6 months after that, after we've been notified, and completed within 3 years. So
I
it doesn't
don't
have to
think-
be done
I don't think
immediately.
we qualify until we get the four things.
That's what I mean, but I think, but I
Then
really,
we qualify then, and then we get 3 months to, give them a idea of how we want to, spend the money energy efficiently,
agreed. And, but the sooner we qualify, the more chance we have of being in the
Right.
queue to get one of the
Right.
grants. You guys do have, stuff on your plate. Would you consider appointing a citizen committee with a board member or more board members on it? Can we do some of the legwork? In other words, is there some things that we could do to make some of this, I mean, Paul is already gonna be doing that part, that's no question about it.
Right.
But basically, to qualify for any of these other ones, if there's anything that we could help with, I think,
Right.
I'm willing, and probably there's other people too, if that would help.
Right.
And
Well,
of course,
I haven't discussed it, we
Well,
talked
bring
the
it
other
up
day,
and
and
talk
we
about it
will
sometime.
discuss that. And
Um,
probably, we won't go into executive session, but what's the other wording we use to go discuss it? Or we can,
Well,
we'll bullshit over it, how's that? But yeah, that is a good idea, and I do think it's,
and I,
I think it's the right thing.
right,
But I want a small committee, so it's not
exactly.
cumbersome. And so I think by next month, we will have the verdict on that. But I think the town board, we have to, extra hands would help.
Jeff, I have a question. I wasn't at the last meeting, or the special meeting. So the $2,500, that's basically, that's a kind of a foregone conclusion. That's gonna happen.
Well,
Correct.
that's, we are being told it will happen.
We met the criteria.
And that
We
money,
met the criteria.
We met that
and that money has not been
earmark.
focused for, earmarked for
It
anything
hasn't
in
been,
particular.
not
Okay.
for anything.
Now, for the other grants, so we're talking the
Right.
$50,000 or $100,000 grants.
Yep.
When you apply for those grants, you don't have to have any, I think we said, I think my impression is, there doesn't necessarily have to be any hard and fast things that money's gonna be spent on.
There-
correct?
Yes, for
Or
the
does-
bigger grants, that
It
you
does.
have to have a specific
Very
project.
specific.
You have to be very
And you
specific.
have to,
You
there's
have to
certain
actually-
criteria, is there 4 out of the 10 that we have to
And
meet?
we've got to be 4 out of 10.
3 are easy after that.
Yeah,
It's-
3
Three are
are,
easy, the
Some of them-
church
So
is
this here.
yeah.
Okay.
Is this a matching grant or is it?
No,
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 Not matching.
it's not matching. Training, resolution,
One concern I have, I know there was discussion about a charging station, and those stations are not without issues in terms of maintenance, and in terms of, a concern I have is that there's gonna be other places where those charging stations, are going to be available. And so, in the relatively short run, I think, as technology is changing so quickly, we could be ending up with something we're gonna have to maintain and be responsible for that may not be doing anything to generate anything that, would help the town. So I don't know.
We could be in competition with a large
That's
corporation
exactly what
that
I'm thinking, yeah,
puts charging stations everywhere.
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
We also should check with the insurance company to see what kind of liability
yeah.
that
Yeah.
yeah.
And the site
Somebody
that
will
is
stick their
proposed
finger in the
is
socket.
personal private property, which we have to approve with them before we ever step foot onto it.
Yeah. So that was
Which
just,
I think that will be a major concern.
a lot of hotels are putting these in
Right,
now.
right.
There's a lot of groups, and again, as you said, there's gonna be some competition with the private sector also. What happens if, you know, the.
Well, that's just one of
Quick
the-
puts in-
That's just one of the benchmarks that you have, or one of the, one of the 10 options.
I guess what I'm
Yeah.
thinking, where I'm going with this, Jeff,
Right.
is that from my standpoint, I would rather see it put into something that's gonna be paying the town, benefiting the town over as long a period of time as possible, like energy savings or something
Right.
like that,
Right,
and not gonna be a liability or, you know, something
right.
that's gonna hurt us.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you get any figures on how much heat and, well, the big thing is heat. You know, overhead doors would do. It's something that we've got on the agenda. And it's like somewhere is there, like one of those are 10% energy savings.
Overall,
This-
complete.
Right,
To be honest, this boiler is 20+ years old too, so that might be something
That could
more
be.
to
efficient.
think about
Yeah.
if you're looking.
I mean, there's other, options other than, that was one of the quote-unquote simple ones,
Sure.
charging stations. But yes, we've gotta,
My understanding is, she said that if we were to try and establish the 10%, there is a percentage curve or so in other words, saying you put LED lighting in, which is fairly easy to figure. So that'll get us, let's say, 2%. And like, say we looked at a new boiler,
right,
and we could accumulate that 10%
between the more efficient
and
boiler.
maybe doors and everything else and throw it all in. But we'd have to, overall, with their generated curve,
Right.
establish the 10% over what we are utilizing now on electric and fuel.
Right.
And it would have
So
to be
it
done
would be-
Well,
quickly,
you're
correct?
probably right, Paul, on the heating system. If
We
it's
could
20-some
cut
years
that
old,
back
that
dramatically.
might, cover the 10%. I mean, you would think a new heating system could do it
Yeah.
quite
I
easily.
think
We've
that-
had issues with it the last
Oh, you
couple
have been?
winters,
Okay.
yeah. Dave Allen's
Okay.
worked on it quite a bit.
Okay. So yes, Don, I think it's a good idea, and we will, get together and get this, get a committee formed.
And if I,
Sure.
just to make one point, Dwight, also, right now, there are not a lot of charging stations around. And it's kind of hard to know how much dollar value you can put on tourism, but I think a lot of people would say that, for instance, just the Stagecoach Run brings in $25,000 to the area. Some of those people might have a EV car that would consider bringing it through. So, would it be good for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? I don't know.
Right.
But it does have some value to the community if it brings tourism dollars, and if they park somewhere in charge and walk around Main Street. Not a lot of places to spend money, but we do have at least a couple places to eat. We have a museum to look at, so there could be some tourism value. That's why
Remember, if you're bringing in $25,000, and the places they go to get grants too, you're really not getting $25,000.
places they
Right.
bring it to. I have no
It's
idea what you
private
mean.
money being spent.
This is people coming in on the Stagecoach
Artists
Run.
get grants, right?
Right, but
I
most,
think a charging station in Marabitos would make sense, because that's a central location. But when I was.
But they might not have room to park cars there for a very extended period of time to charge.
Wow.
Just a thought.
But when I was working at a nonprofit craft center, which was located on Park Service property, the craft store was told that they were not allowed to sell soda pop and snacks, because that would be the government subsidizing a business in competition with private industry. Now, something like that principle might apply if we were trying to sell electricity in a charging station.
right.
However, there are plenty of other things where, like savings of heating.
Right. Yeah.
Well, do they charge for this? I mean, I know some places that it's free, you just plug in. Not around
It
here.
gets charged
but-
back to the person that it's charged onto.
You
That's the
credit card.
question, that's the catch to it is,
Right.
the juice has gotta come from off of somebody's meter.
I
So
assume
the town buys
it's solar
juice for this?
generated though? Is that
They
what
swipe
makes
a card.
It's not solar
and it's supposed to get
generated?
billed to them.
It's like the gas pump, you
It's
swipe
like
a
a gas
card.
pump.
But it's coming from the grid, it's not coming from solar, so it's not really green,
It's
other than it's an electric car.
The car is.
It's more
Right, the car is, but not the electricity.
And it depends on the electric supply. Plus, the other thing too is, I mean, look at the value, and, you know, like, what it costs for an electric car today. Your average individual is not gonna be,
Jim said he'd buy an electric motorcycle, but they're too
I
expensive.
mean, you're looking at 35 grand at least right now for an electric car.
Yeah.
Well, doesn't REA have a charging station?
Delhi,
Yeah,
yes,
Delhi does,
Delaware
yeah.
Electric Co-op does.
And I think, is it one of the, oh gosh, the new motel behind BJ's there, they may have a charging
Oh.
station too, one of them over there.
I mean, it would make
Which
sense for a
one?
motel to have, or a hotel to have.
4-hour recharge time.
it.
The REA guy said they've never seen it used.
It hasn't been used very much. I know Paul was here at the meeting and, I guess they have used it a little bit, but he hasn't, it's not a line waiting to
But
get
part of
plugged
it,
in.
like you said, there's not that many EV cars, but.
There's
Right.
not.
but they're
And it's
probably-
gotta be,
I mean, you could say the same thing about a premium of, $5,000 to $8,000 now, a premium on a diesel engine for a truck.
Right.
People are still buying the diesel engine trucks, so some people are gonna.
and the other side of it is, we could put one of those, charging stations here, but it'd be tough for them, nothing to do. I mean, you gotta walk up the side of the road to get to Main Street, so that
And
was,
that could get into
That
what
could
Bill
be.
was talking about.
Right.
That would definitely fall into the program of what Bill
Right.
was discussing.
right. But since there is a
Especially
down,
if Moravitos put one in, they
Right.
could flag us.
yeah, but, that's why, I came up with the idea, if somebody did, about the museum, just because it is a nonprofit. And it might be the center hub of the center of the village, so at least you could walk, or if not, if you're not gonna have dinner or lunch or whatever, at least you could have someplace you could walk around or view the museum or whatever. I mean, but that is one of the 10 criteria, whether it's feasible or not, that's to be found.
Right.